Hi everyone, Craig here. Today I'm going to be installing an air filter upgrade on my Echo CS501P. The air filter from factory on these saws is less than ideal. The filter itself tends to, I won't say clog easy, but gets dirty easy and they're hard to clean. The filters are also something that I haven't been able to find locally. It's something I've been having to order online. So the air filter upgrade we're installing today is from a company called A2D. The filter setup itself replaces the intake boot as well as the filter, and there's an adapter piece for the cover. So sit with me and I'll show you how to install it. All right, everything you see here is what comes with the kit. The new intake boot or port, if you will. The filter itself, which this specific one is from an Echo CS450. If you have Echo CS400 filters, you can also run the 400 filter. The difference is just volume and air filtration. So the Echo 400 filter is just a tad narrower, and I actually might have one to show you. Yes, I do. So here's a Echo 400 filter. Here's the 450. So close, not too much of a difference. But the 450 is slightly larger, so that's what I'm gonna choose to use. If I remember right, performance over the stock filter, there was like 300% more, 300% more surface area, I believe, and close to 200% more surface area on the 400 filter. Then this piece, which will be used to cover the filter. And then you have an option of either of these wedges. I chose to purchase both because it's only a few more bucks, and I figure I'll try both out. I'll likely run the non-vented one the most, but the vented one kind of looks cool, and us and our toys, we like things that look cool. So I'll experiment and probably try both, but mainly we'll run the non-vented one, I expect. So we'll start disassembly. I'd say it's best to have a clean saw to begin with and a clean work area, just because we are dealing with small engine carburetors and they can be kind of picky. For removal, we only need two tools. That'll be a 4mm Allen wrench and a 3mm Allen wrench. So first thing, take off the cover. Set that to the side. Here's the old filter. Now, before I even take this old filter out, a good practice to do, regardless of what you're working on in here, if you are about to take off the air filter, open up the choke. What that does is it will close the butterfly valve in the carburetor. Helps prevent some debris from falling in, or in this case, if we're working with screws or tools, don't want anything to fall in to the actual carburetor itself. So choke's on, then this filter just comes right off. And there you can see the factory intake boot or horn. I'm not sure what you would actually want to call it. But we'll start disassembly. I don't think it really matters which ones you do first, but I'm going to do the ones on the bottom here. Now when you put it back on, there is a preference to do the ones to the carb first, because you do want the carb, or you do want the screws snug to the carb without these other screws affecting that tightness, if that makes sense. But for removal, it shouldn't make a difference. one. And you might have assumed or guessed it. They are different sizes, and it'll be obvious once I get them out. But for down here, it was the 3mm Allen. These ones up here are going to be the 4mm Allen. Broke them loose easily. If I remember right, these top ones are real long. That's because they go all the way through the carb. And there is a small washer. So before you pull the screw or the bolt out all the way, just make sure that washer, not sure if you can see it, make sure that washer's on there, because if you just pull it out quickly, that washer could fall down into the engine cavity there and be a pain to get out. There's one. Get this side. Again, being careful to hold that washer so we don't lose it. And then this guy comes right off. So this is no longer needed. It gets replaced by this assembly. So I'll look quick, make sure it's not too dirty in there. It looks fine for the most part. Now you can apply some grease to this surface, because this is the surface that's going to mate to the carburetor, just for a better seal. I'm not going to do that now, just because I might take this on and off a couple more times for testing purposes. Do some videos maybe on before and after. But if I was to install this right now permanently, I would use some grease. I do have dielectric grease, which dielectric grease is good for, you know, marine engine use, because it is resistant to oils and gas. It's resistant to water. It has good thermal temperature resistance. So if there's a better grease out there, feel free to leave a comment and let me know, but this was the best thing that I had on hand. So I'm going to plan to use dielectric grease for that. But again, right now I'm not going to use it, just because I might pull this on and off a couple more times. So we'll go ahead and set that in there. Get our long screws in position. And like most things that you're assembling, it's always wise to get all your bolts or screws in position before tightening any of them down. But that's just generally good, you know, practice for really working on almost anything. So those top two are in. We'll put the bottom two in, switch to the 3mm Allen. And again, I'm not going to tighten these ones down all the way, because I want to tighten the ones that go through the carb first, because that's the seal that we want to be shored up and straight and true. Tightening these bottom ones could affect how this piece mates to the carburetor. So again, tighten up the ones that go to the carb first. And then as to how tight, kind of got to just use your judgment. You know, this material that Alex uses doesn't seem fragile in any way, but it's just one of those things. You just be careful of how much torque you're applying. Doesn't take much to tighten it down. Let's get these snugged up a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna call that good. So that's good. All right, so once you have this all buttoned up, you can set your wedge on there. Just kind of sets on there like so. It does come with a screw, just a regular Phillips screw to go right here. The screw is really just meant to keep this in place for filter maintenance, or when you're taking the cover on and off. That way you don't have to reposition the wedge every time. The screw is just to keep it there. It's not really intended to hold anything securely down. It's more just a placeholder. So once the wedge is in place, you can set your filter on, as well as the wedge, or I'm sorry, the cover. Depending on which filter you're running, either the 450 filter or the smaller 400 filter will determine which way this goes, because it is indented on one side, but you can't get it wrong. So if you're not sure which way it goes, you'll find out, because it won't work one way, or it won't work the wrong way. So it just sits on there like that. And then the last is the cover. The original cover will fit back on. So when cinching this down, tightening it down, this goes with what I'm about to say applies to whether you have this wedge in here or not. You should always kind of apply some pressure with your hands. That way you're not totally relying on the screw tightening everything. Probably doesn't really matter. I just feel like that's easier on the threads and the screw. So there we go. It's installed. Take my choke off. I think it looks cool. It should function awesome. Yeah. I look forward to running it. All right, install complete. Everything went smoothly. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment. I look forward to doing some videos of it in the future, see how it performs. Thanks for watching. Bye.